morning. My name is Brad Mihalik. I'm Operations Section Chief with Great Basin Team 3. I'm going to give you an update on the Middle Fork Complex for August 24th. Our complex consists of two fires, the Bulldog Fire and the Nelly Fire. We have it broken into two branches. So we'll start over here in branch 1 on the Bulldog Fire. Up along the Middle Fork Road, up the river corridor here, we got on the west side of the fire, we got folks in here monitoring this side of the fire. It's held up on the road really well. We're continuing to monitor this area, but we're feeling really good about it. As we come down around the corner here, we got a really good, what we call an anchor point in here that we're continuing to hold and improve. So we're feeling really comfortable with this corner of the fire. That's why we're able to put black line on the map. So we're feeling real comfortable with this and the structures in this area here. As we move around to the east side of the fire, this part of the fire is held up in an old burn called the Rattlesnake Burn from 2018. It's just kind of moving slowly around in there. We're really keeping a good eye on this and the Lightning Creek drainage. Just monitoring this to come up with some options as priorities allow for us to get folks in here to start stopping the southern progression of this. Up the east side of the Bulldog Fire, that still is continuing to hold in that rattlesnake scar, really just kind of creeping around in there. So we're just at this point keeping an eye on this piece here. As you move up the Middle Fork Road out the Forest Service 671 road, we got crews up in here still continuing to prep that road to use as a holding feature, and also got crews up in the Silver Creek lodge area doing structure protection work and getting that all ready for if the fire were to impact that lodge area. As we come down through the town of Crouch and Garden Valley, we have a structure protection group that's working in here. They've tied in with the local fire department, getting some structure protection plans that they've already had in place for this area for some time. So we continue, the structure protection group continues to assess structures in here, and they're starting to strategically place some supply caches of structure protection equipment so we're able to deploy it rapidly if needed. But we'll go ahead and move over to the Nelly Fire. Over here on the west end of the Nelly Fire, we got a couple of hotshot crews and a division supervisor out here. They're scouting some options out here to prevent western progression towards the towns of Crouch and Garden Valley. We have a couple of options in here. One's a little bit further out, but we're looking at one today with the advantageous weather that we have, hopefully for the next 3 or 4 days, that we'll be able to come in a little bit closer to the fire's edge here and put in a little bit of indirect line to stop the fire for progressing west towards Garden Valley and Crouch. As we come down into the Highway 17 corridor area, we have our structure protection group working down in here as well, prepping, assessing, and providing structure protection to the structures in the corridor. The last couple of days we've been having some fire progression down into the corridor. It's just kind of backing off this hill, which has forced our hand a little bit to do some firing along the highway in order to just keep up with this fire's edge here so it doesn't make a hard push down to the highway and impact any of these structures. So those operations have gone really well. All the structures have been secure in here, and we're just continuing to hold and monitor the Highway 17 corridor area. Up along the eastern edge of the Nelly Fire, it is also hung up in an old burn called the Pioneer Fire. We're working some crews in here to try to tie this piece right here back into the Pioneer Fire to secure that, as we have some unburned fuels in here. As we move up north along the eastern edge of the Nelly Fire, this whole section right here is all hung up on the Pioneer Fire scar. It is We don't have any folks in here right now. We're just really monitoring this from the ground and the air. It's moving very slowly in here, and as priorities allow and conditions allow, we'll eventually get folks in here to take care of this. We just don't have a lot of values at risk this way currently, so we got our folks in other places where we have values at risk. Up here towards the Deadwood Reservoir, that's where it made the big push with the wind 2 days ago. We were able to get folks up into here yesterday to assess what that push did and how it impacted the south end of the reservoir here. There are some structures and a dam and some infrastructure up here. We got in there yesterday, assessed all that, and everything looks really good. No damage to any of the structures or infrastructure, and they're just continuing to mop up and improve around the structure area. Today, one of our priorities is to take care of the spots on the left side of Deadwood Reservoir. So once we get these spots put out, we can really concentrate on this side, trying to find some opportunities to cut off the northern progression of the fire. One thing to take note of is we're watching this big piece in the middle here, and we're expecting these two fires to potentially grow together in the next week or so. So there's really no values out here, and it'll just be moving through an old burn scar, but just so folks know, we are expecting this. The probability is high of this becoming one fire here. One more thing to note, up here at the north end of Deadwood Reservoir, we're planning on inserting quite a bit more personnel up here to start working on the northern progression of this fire. We are going to start establishing a spike camp up at the north end of the reservoir here at DP 54 in anticipation of moving quite a few crews over that way, as the drive is about 2.5 hours from camp. So we're trying to shorten that drive for folks. So we'll hopefully in the next couple of days have a spike camp established up on the north end of the reservoir.